Good evening, Dr. Davis, Board of Education, Cabinet, colleagues, and 162 family, and those of you online. It's really good to see you tonight, and thank you for this opportunity. Every year, Dr. Davis challenges us to make the new year better than the year previously. So Dr. Davis, 2024-2025 will be Arcadia's finest hour. So we at Arcadia have three priorities, and those three priorities directly align with our summative designation, which is really the ranking that we're given by the state. Our first priority is school culture and climate, and what that really is just making our students feel good about themselves and feel like they have a wonderful place to learn and grow. So of course this year, as Dr. Davis has stated, we will be implementing those restorative practices, which really deals with relationship building between our students, between our teachers and our students, between the administration and the students. So we'll be doing that as it relates to school culture and climate. Our second priority is attendance. Attendance works. Every student, every day, whatever it takes. So if we build a place where our students can learn and grow, and our students come to school every day, then our third priority, which is really our most important priority, becomes easy. That's student achievement. So today I'm going to focus on student achievement and what we're going to do differently at the Arcadia this year. So Dr. Davis asked 4 questions. The first question she asked is, what do we want all students to learn? Well, over the last year, we've actually transitioned to standards-based grading. So what we want our students to learn is actually the priority standards. And those are the standards that every student needs to know in order to be ready for the next grade level. What does that mean? That means we want them to be IAR ready, and the way that they will do that is by mastering the priority standards. Her second question is, how will we know if they have learned? Well, this summer, we have spent time as a district putting together assessments, looking at ways for teachers to make sure the students have mastered at grade level all of those standards that are priority standards. So every teacher has a binder with different assessments, differentiated, to make sure that they have mastered those standards. And the questions are in different formats. So today I'm going to focus on her question number 3. But I don't want anyone to worry, because we do have all of that differentiation as it relates to her 4th question, which deals with how are you going to enrich or how are you going to enhance your program. Well, we still are going to have at Arcadia our math specialists, so those math masters classes. We're still going to have our win time, what I need time, which means that the students will be reading on their level with either a reading specialist or a teacher. We have lunch and learn, we have snack and study, we have STEM club, we have book club, writer's workshop, all of those things are still in play. But what I want to talk about is what we are going to do differently. What will you do when students have challenges? Well, this year at Arcadia, you're going to see a little bit of a difference in our Tier 1 instruction. And when I say Tier 1 instruction, that's the entire classroom. So in classrooms across Arcadia, we are bringing the science of reading into our already balanced literacy classrooms. What do I mean? The science of reading is really just honestly a focus on phonemic awareness, phonics, fluency, vocabulary, and comprehension into our balanced literacy classrooms, which really deal with working with words, guided reading, self-selected reading, and writing. So I want to talk a little bit about what we're going to do in the kindergarten through 2nd grade and what that looks like in the 3rd and 4th grade. In kindergarten through 2nd grade, you're going to see more oral language development incorporated into our comprehension lessons. What does that actually look like in the classroom? That looks like collaborative learning. For those of you who know, that's the Kagan strategies. What are the Kagan strategies? It really just means giving students the opportunity to express themselves, to talk about big ideas, to then in writing describe what it is and look at big picture. So it's really collaborative learning, right? And also more read-alouds. We're going back to those read-alouds because it gives students and teachers the opportunity to share ideas. Oral language development, that's the first thing you're going to see differently in our K through 2 classrooms. You're also going to see intentional, systematic phonemic awareness lessons. Well, phonemic awareness is really just auditory and oral, right? So what you're talking about is working with sounds, blending, okay, sand, right? That's blending, and, okay, and this one, my reading specialist told me to be very careful if I enunciate right, but segmenting, ish, right? 3 phonemes. So you're going to see lessons like that and things like manipulation of words, right? So sit, take away the S, what do you have? You have it. Add an H, what do you have? You have hit. A program we use is called Heggerty, and you're going to see 15 to 20 minutes of phonemic awareness instruction directly related to those type of lessons so that students really start to understand their words, right? Coupled with that is systematic phonics instruction. What does that mean? It's really applying the phonemic awareness skills of blending, segmenting, and manipulating phonemes with print that represent each sound. Letter-sound relationships. That's phonics, right? So again, 15 to 20 minutes of pure phonics lessons. Now, we all took phonics in grade school, so we're not talking about different. We're talking about going back to those foundational skills that we know are so important so that all of our students can read. We are going to prioritize high-frequency words. Now, I know with the science of reading, and those of you listening at home, nowadays, memorizing high-frequency words, that's a bad word. We're not asking students to memorize high-frequency words. We're asking for them to prioritize high-frequency words. What does that mean? That means practicing them, but it's okay to sound out the word. It's okay, and it's okay to decode. Decoding is another big piece in the science of reading. So these are not new ideas. These are just things that we're going to focus on so that we're going to make sure that our students are able to read by the time they get to 3rd and 4th grade, which they will be taking the Illinois Assessment of Readiness. So what does the science of reading look like in 3rd and 4th grade? Well, that's comprehension. So that's close reading, and close reading is exactly what it sounds like. Making sure that you pay close attention to the text so that you can make meaning in text. But it's teaching strategies, paraphrasing, summarizing, clarification, all of those skills and strategies that students need on the Illinois Assessment of Readiness. It's vocabulary instruction. Years and years ago, Dr. Davis introduced us to the word of the day. That's exactly what we're going back to. Actually, one of the teachers, she actually wrote the word of the day for the entire year with the help of some of her students, because introducing sophisticated, interesting words into students' vocabularies is part of vocabulary instruction. The other piece of it is prefixes, suffixes, and roots. Morphology, right? So we've reimagined reading at Arcadia School. So what's the prefix, what's the suffix, and what's the root? And then knowing what that is as we figure out different words. It's about fluency. So we have those 1-minute timings that we use, but it's also incorporating strategies like echo reading, choral reading, and that's exactly what it sounds like. It also involves performance reading, so reader's theater, and different ways to get students to read in real-world situations, which then asks you to use more authentic reading strategies, so like book clubs and writers' workshops, where students are actually using what they've learned in class in real-world situations. So that's what it's going to look like at Arcadia in our Tier 1 instruction in our classrooms as it relates to English language arts. But mathematics is important, and we are going to change that a little bit too. What you're going to see in our Tier 1 instruction as it relates to mathematics really is the focus on the priority standards. What do I mean? Those are the standards that develop a strong foundational knowledge and deep conceptual understanding. So it's making sure that every skill that the student needs to know at that grade level is mastered. We are going to make connections. As we do in reading, we're going to do it in math. So not only use engaging vocabulary, but we're going to make connections. We know that multiplication is merely just repeated addition. And it's using that vocabulary and making those connections with our students that will really help them to grow this conceptual understanding, which really asks them to go deeper, to answer multi-step questions and things like that. But we are not forgetting about procedure fluency or knowing your math facts. So not only is it on the standards-based report card now that we need to know, so if Steph knows her +1s and +2s, that's wonderful, but if she's having a little difficulty with her +3s, your parent is going to know that. But parents, I know there's a lot of you out there. We have a big ask this year, and that is to work with your students on their math facts. We are going to have videos and things like that for you, but at the same time, work with your students on math facts. It's the pluses and the minuses in K through 2. It is the multiplication timetables in grades 3 and the division tables in grade 4. We are asking for your help in knowing those math facts, because that will help us with the more difficult procedural fluency, which is subtraction across zeros, which is double-digit multiplication, division with remainders. All of those things are going to be part of our instruction, but we're asking for that help. And finally, application. So like I said, taking everything that they've learned and then asking those higher level questions, asking if you know the formula for area and perimeter. Now I want you to build a pool. Well, how are you going to build the pool? What's the area? What's the perimeter? How much backyard space do you have? What is that going to look like? So it is really looking at focus, coherence, procedural fluency, deep conceptual understanding, and application. And those are the changes that we're going to have in math. So we have some wonderful things at the Arcadia, and we're looking forward to a wonderful school year.
Thank you so much, Dr. Healy.